Hi and welcome to Whiskey Shared. You're watching day 8 of my mystery whiskey advent calendar. I'm Toby and you're watching Whiskey Shared. Welcome to day 8 of my mystery whiskey advent calendar. If you've seen this before and you know it works, then you can just skip straight forward to the tasting. Otherwise, the way this works is I have over 150 samples in my sample collection and my wife will pick 24 at random. She'll put one a day into a blue Glencairn glass and I'll nose it, I'll taste it, I'll tell you if I like it, and I'll have a stab at what I think it is. Shall we find out what I'm drinking? On to the whiskey. If you'd like to play along with me and find out what's in my glass when I do, then just keep watching. Otherwise, take a look in the description now for a sneak peek. Let's start with the nose. Okay, so this has a little bit of smoke. There's like a sort of petrochemical vibe, diesel. It reminds me of like a Campbelltown. There's definitely a slight funk in there. Quite fruity. I'm getting like red fruits, like soaked dark fruits. It's quite sweet. Not overly high ABV on the nose. Yeah, I'm getting like struck match, like sulphur. Yeah, very nice. That fruitiness is quite nice. It works really well with that sort of diesel funky note that I'm picking up. Yeah, let's move on to the palate. Definitely has a Campbelltown vibe. That that sort of diesel note is really quite present. The palate isn't overly hot, so I don't think this is too high ABV. Maybe 46%, maybe even 48 at a push. It does seem quite light on the palate. The mouthfeel is quite thin, but it's still very nice. The fruitiness is quite nice as well. It's sweet, but not too sweet. It's not drying on the palate either. So I think if this has been in a combination of red wine or sherry for any time, it hasn't been too long, or isn't an overly dry sherry. But yeah, very nice. Let's have another sip. I think this is very well put together. It's very well integrated. It's a little soft, but there is a little bit of peppery spice, a little bit of a tingle of pepper on the palate. So it's not overly hot. The heat doesn't take over any of the flavours. That diesel note is clinging to the palate, and that fruitiness that's not too sweet does dissipate quite quickly, leaving like a vanilla behind. I think if I had to guess at this stage, I'd say it probably is a Campbelltown. It could be a Glen Scotia, or maybe a Long Row. But yeah, I don't think I've got any. Oh no, I have got some Springbank, so it could possibly be a Springbank as well, but yeah, let's have one final sip. Interestingly, this is also reminding me of a Highland Park. I think it's a little bit soft for me, and I've always found that Glen Scotia and Springbank and Long Row can just be a little bit more interesting. So that's why I'm potentially thinking this reminds me also of a of a Highland Park. Yeah, I think to be fair, obviously I could say it's Scotch, could say it's any of those, but to nail it down a little bit further, I'm going to say it's a Campbelltown and something from one of the Springbank distilleries, so the likes of Longrow or Springbank. I'm not going to nail it down any further. I'm really struggling with this one, but I do think it's been, you know, if it is like a Springbank, it could be made up of a combination of some bourbon and some sherry / wine casks. I don't think it is completely sherry or red wine. So it's either finished or it's a partial sort of parcel of some sort of wine. 46%, 48% I think max, and potentially anything up to 15 years old. Shall we find out what's in my glass? Right, so it's the Talisker Port Ruighe. It's 45.8% and it was sent to me by Neil Smart from the Whisky Trials. So yeah, obviously it's an island whiskey, it's Talisker. There's, yeah, I can see the sort of the DNA in there slightly, but yeah, it's definitely one I've not tried before. It's definitely Talisker is a whiskey that I'm reasonably fond of. Most notably the 18-year-old, which Diageo have massively increased the price of recently. So yeah, this is obviously a non-age statement whiskey. It's at the standard 45.8%. I think they're all that, or 45.7, something like that. All just under 46%. So it's decent ABV. I don't think it's an expensive whiskey, this one still. So yeah, I think if it's on offer, I might be tempted to buy a bottle of this because it is nice. It is well integrated, the dram. So for the right price, I might be tempted. Yeah, if you tried this and you liked it or didn't like it, or yeah, maybe got similar notes or maybe even something different, let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this particular one from Talisker. But either way, hopefully you found this interesting, and I'll see you again tomorrow for day 9. Sancha. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.